NBA and NHL finals are finally here. Who you got, Manny? MLB season is a third of the way through. Only 16 jillion games left to go. We got your infamous new segment, Mount Rushmore. Stick in your seats, folks. This is Box Scores and Bourbon.
Look at the box scores.
Box Scores
and Bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
Baseball, Box Scores.
So football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box Scores and Bourbon.
Last Wednesday, MLB decided to officially integrate the Negro League baseball statistics with the MLB. And comparison's fun, but now we have to look at comparison differently now. Because not only is MLB doing a disservice to the ball players who played Major League Baseball way back when, they're also doing a disservice to the Negro League ball players. And here's why. Point number one. We never got to see Josh Gibson or Satchel Paige or Turkey Stearns actually play against Major League ball players. We always had to play the comparison game, and comparisons are fun. But the problem now is that you have future baseball fans who are going to look at these and say, oh, Josh Gibson was the greatest power hitter in Babe Ruth's day. Well, not exactly, because they played two different leagues. And what I don't like about MLB doing this, for one reason, is that they're playing revisionist history for the major flaws that existed way back when. It was sad that those two leagues had to be segregated. It was pathetic that we couldn't just allow one game to bring whatever color you were, whatever race you came from, and bring them in together and have the best amongst the best the whole time. But now with MLB integrating this, I have to ask, why now? The Negro Leagues haven't existed for quite some time. Why is it right now that they decided to do this? And I think it's quite frankly, it's a race card. MLB wants to sit there and they want to say, hey, we're so sorry for what happened. But instead of trying to figure out how we'd never let this happen again, let's just muddy the statistics. It's a disservice to the black players who played in the Negro Leagues, who were the best. We can sit there and talk about Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson and Turkey Stearns, who most people have never heard of. But what about those Negro League players who were at the top of their game, at the top of those stats in the Negro Leagues? Where are they now? Are they no longer in the top 10? Are they in the 30s, the top 40s, top 50s of statistics? All we did was take an error on our judgment and then decide, hey, I'm going to take this and I'm going to integrate it now into Major League Baseball. I'm going to make it right, and I'm going to wipe my hands clean of the past. But the past is the past. And the beauty of the past is you get to learn from your mistakes. But to sit there and to penalize Negro League ball players and Major League ball players for an era that they lived in, as opposed to figuring out now how to move forward, I think is completely backwards, and it's wrong on all fronts. Now, this is the reality. We're going to have to sit here and live with Negro League statistics compared with Major League Baseball statistics. And while it's fun, like I said, to compare, now it's an uneven comparison. Because not only did Negro League ball players play a third of the games, they didn't play the major leagues. And so now we have to try to figure out, okay, this has happened. How do we justify this and move on and try to figure out, okay, well, what's next? Are we going to integrate the All-American Girls Baseball League? Because they kept Major League Baseball afloat during World War II. I don't see their stats in the books. Where are their stats in the books? And all I'm saying is, if we're going to do one, we may as well do all of them. Manny, I see you filming me or filming yourself from a different location. Look at you.
I am relocated.
Relocated on
Temporarily
relocation.
Relocated.
On relocation.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a spirit with you?
I am.
Are you spiritless?
A spirit? Yes. Yes, of course, JB. We are called Box Scores and Bourbon. We can't go without
Look at this.
our drink of choice.
Carried his drink on his carry-on. Salud.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
I've
bought a
had.
handle one
Yeah,
shooter at a time.
yeah. I don't know what your thoughts on
But
this Negro League thing is, but I'd like to hear if you have any.
yeah, no, it's I want to preface what I'm gonna say by acknowledging what you're saying to make sure it's not misconstrued by about the fact that you're claiming some sort of favoritism or any kind of negative
Mhm.
approach to things. I see where you're coming from. I
Yeah,
get it, and I'm leaning towards agreeing with you simply because of the fact that if you're merging stats for leagues or when you're considering stats on leagues, you're able to consider stats for players because they matched up against each other.
yeah,
So yes, they played different games, they played different seasons, they played even different. The season was not the same length, so of course those stats aren't going to be construed the same. But my thought process is for the Negro League, I would have been curious to see how the players from the Negro League would have handled
hmm
players from the MLB and how those stats would have
yeah,
reflected if they were going up against pretty. I'm not saying the Negro League didn't have the best of the best, but the best of the best in the country. The separation, shame on the leagues for having that separation, of course. But the curiosity that will never be fulfilled on
yeah,
both sides is how would have MLB stats look different if they
hmm
allowed the Negro League to be a part of their league
yeah,
right away, and how would the Negro League players have handled how their stats would look differently if
yeah,
they were able to go up against the rest of the league players. So yeah, it's
yeah.
a little bit of a
No, yeah,
I guess a little bit of a caveat, a little bit of a uncertainty that we'll never know. But yeah,
yeah,
it'll
yeah,
continue to create some confusion. I haven't looked in depth as
yeah.
far as all the stats that have kind of all the records that are being reset and replaced, but
hmm
it's going to create some sort of confusion as far as what people have known to be reality
Yeah,
for statistics and records, which a lot of people live by.
yeah. No, and I would have loved to see Josh Gibson and Babe Ruth on the same diamond. That would have been fantastic. I would have loved to see
Exactly.
Satchel Paige pitch to Ted Williams. That would have been awesome. Like
Exactly.
it would have been something special to see. And and I stand by it. It sucks that was even a part of our history, especially as a baseball fan. Like the one thing I believe that brings most people together is sports, and be able to have a
Hmm.
sport be the one to kind of be the catalyst to kind of put people, kind of move people in the right direction, as opposed to
Yep.
being a microcosm of what was happening in
Hmm.
society. So,
Yeah.
but and I
It's and
agree with you. Like
it's
I would have.
reflectable even
Go
nowadays.
ahead.
It's like I was just gonna say it's reflected, and it's not. I'm not saying it's like happening now, but I'm saying imagine if the NBA had this thing where they weren't allowing
Mhm.
European players to be drafted into the NBA. That it was American only. We would never have the Luka Doncic,
Yeah.
the Joker,
Mhm.
um pr-
Yeah.
Giannis, like all these great players that have set records
Yeah.
that have won
Yeah.
MVPs. It just imagine the world
Mhm.
where we wouldn't have
Oh yeah.
those type of records or matchups simply because of some
Yeah.
arbitrary decision that was made back in the day.
Yeah. No, because I can look now and be like, oh look what David Ortiz has done. Look at what
Right.
and as much as I can't stand the guy, look at what Sammy Sosa's done for the game. Look at what Bob Gibson's done for the game. Look at Ozzie Smith has done for. Look at Tony Gwynn. Like look at like all these players, and it's
Yeah.
fantastic. But it would have been wonderful to see then. But when you do something like this, all it does is say is you can own your mistake from the past, but there's no way to change the past other than to make decisions to ensure that it won't happen again, or
Right.
to make sure you
Right.
don't go back on that same path. And thankfully, I mean, sports isn't that way anymore.
Right. I,
It is all inclusive. Everyone from all walks of life plays sports in America,
hmm.
and it doesn't matter what sport. And it's fantastic. We get to see the best of the best from wherever all the time, and it's wonderful. But no, I
Yes.
just it's
Love it.
it it I believe it's just a really great disservice, especially
Yeah.
because I believe the reason they did it now had nothing to do with the fact of, oh, hey, this is in good conscience. No, I think there was a reason behind it, and I just disagree with it. And if
Yeah,
they did this with anything, I'd have disagreed with it.
yeah,
So
right. I'm failing to see what the sport itself and the sport history is gaining by merging the stats. If
yeah,
anything, it's diluting even what the Negro League did because
yeah,
they had such
yeah.
dominance on their own, and now it's going to be
Hmm.
intertwined, and you won't be able
Exactly,
to just see
exactly.
that by itself.
There were Negro League
Yeah,
ball players that were so dominant. Now they're not nearly as high on that ranking anymore. So
right. Yeah,
and yeah,
exactly.
so it's a huge disservice on both accounts. But speaking of huge disservice, um, let's talk about how my New York Rangers and Dallas Stars just failed me completely. In the words of Bob Uecker
Your
from Major
bracket
League,
is
in the words from Bob Uecker from Major League, my picks were just a bit outside. I have
hmm
neither one of them is playing in the finals for the NHL. Um,
You're so confident. You had so
I
much
was, I
confidence too.
was, I was so confident, and I was so confident in 7 games. Both of them went to 6 games. I mean, it didn't even.
Yep.
It was just, and so I had just a few quick points for each series. The Rangers, they lost that series. Um, those defensemen, Truba, Miller, and I'm spacing on the other big one, but they just did not play sound hockey. And it wasn't just their defense because it was also their special teams. It was when the puck's being hit into their zone, and instead of slapping it away, they're playing footsie with it. And Florida, I've said this from the whole time, the Rangers would win, but Florida's good at everything. Florida was fantastic in the zone. They fell
hmm
off in the power play. They picked it up starting in game 4. They were fantastic in the power play. The Rangers did not know how to have a penalty kill, except the one time I think Kreider scored a goal during their power play. That was right the epitome of what a penalty kill is supposed to be. But the Rangers, they just failed, and I am going to put none of the blame on Shesterkin. I'm not going to put any of the blame. That dude played a
Oh, I
hell
would
of a
hope not.
series.
I would hope you would didn't.
That dude was the only reason that series went to 6 games. He was the only reason it got that far because the defense was so atrocious the first half of that series. And then it got a little bit better, and then it just got worse. And there's only so much a goalie can do. Shosturkin is what, 4'8", 150 pounds. I mean, he's so tiny,
How
but
dare you disrespect him?
I'm not. This is a testament to how athletic he is. He's so small. I think he's the smallest goalie in NHL, and he's the best one that the NHL has, pound for pound. He is the
Yeah.
best goalie, and he did everything he could. And then on the offensive end, where was Panarin? Where was he the whole time? And then why on earth are there not any slap shots by the Rangers in this series? They had one goal in game 5, and it was from a slap shot. But every time they got the puck in their zone, they would sit there and the offense was set up. It was set up for them to get it, to slap shot it, and then you had a guy on the goal post ready to knock it in if it was deflected. And they missed it time after time after time again. And now the Rangers are out of it because of poor, poor, poor execution. Plain and simple. The the playmakers disappeared. The defense was what I thought it would be, and the special teams was not impressive. On the Star side, the Stars just got complacent. They got
Yeah. Oh,
so complacent. What are you going to
yeah.
say?
You could say the same thing about what happened to You can say the same thing happened to Dallas that happened to the Rangers. Their defense was just not there.
It wasn't.
And then
Yeah,
I was concerned about it before Game 5, Game 6. Can't remember when we were referencing it, but I
yeah,
was concerned about it then, and it's ended up being what
yeah,
caused them to get eliminated.
yeah.
It was all over the place. I don't know formations
Mhm,
in hockey to the point where I could dictate exactly where guys should
mhm,
be, but just the eye test said
yeah,
they weren't spacing their defensive floor
yeah.
well. They
Mhm,
weren't covering the ice well. They were kind of
Yeah,
crowded. They were missing their spots, and
yeah,
it ended up being the reason they couldn't keep up.
yeah. And kudos to the Oilers. I mean, when you got the two of the leading scorers in the NHL and McDavid and Hyman, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? And then the star. I mean, Ottinger, the goalie for Dallas, he's a freaking giant. But I mean, good on Edmonton figuring out how to slip the goal, slip the puck in at every time. And so, um, I'm more surprised the Rangers are out of it than I am Dallas is out of it. But but nevertheless,
It's interesting.
they're both out of it. I think Florida takes this series. Um, I think Florida's end up taking this series.
I'm going to be cheering for the Oilers simply because like we said
You
earlier,
want a
I
Canadian
just
team to
want to
win?
see how I want to see it. I want to see the celebration.
Yeah,
I'm not anti-American by any means,
yeah,
but I just feel it brewing that Canada just knows how to party if their team wins. I just have a feeling it's going to be an amazing time in Canada. So I'm for that reason alone, I'm cheering for them. But based off of the dominance that Florida showed
mhm,
against the Rangers,
yeah,
and this is like a one-off. They were
yeah,
dominant last year. They were just as good last year.
yeah.
They made the Stanley Cup last year, but
No,
I'm
that
not
was 2 years
mistaken.
ago. That was 2 years ago.
Oh,
Florida,
okay.
yeah, yeah, and Florida,
We
and every right should have won that series too. That's why I think Florida's going to win this one. I don't
yeah.
think they're going to let it slip from their hands this time.
Yeah, that's the point that I was going to get at. As
Yeah,
much as I'm going to be cheering for the Oilers for the country's sake, I feel like Florida has had this
yeah,
building for the last 2 3 years. Just
yeah.
it's been coming, and I think it'll finally be the year for them to dominate. Which I'm I'm like still in shock that Florida is somehow becoming the hockey capital of the country.
I know.
Apparently,
This is
the
where
Rangers dominated for the 5 years, and then now this is going to take turns, and now it's Panthers season.
this is where high school football players chase rabbits to increase their speed on the gridiron. And oh look, I
Yeah,
also play hockey as a side hustle. What? What we talking about? What? So yeah, but
yeah.
I got Florida in the
It
series.
should be a good series. They'll match up well.
It'll be a fantastic series because at some point Florida will forget how to how, how to execute a power play. They will forget again,
Mm.
and in those moments that Florida forgets how to execute, you best believe the Oiler offense is going to be right there. They're going to be ready.
Yeah,
They're
that's
going to be ready.
that's the reason that I have a feeling it's going to be a good series. Simply
Mhm.
because both offenses, when they're clicking really well, and they don't have a problem with clicking. Like their offense is the driving force behind their gameplay. It's
Yeah,
not. Haven't paid attention to the defense as much as I've been paying attention to both teams' offenses, but
yeah,
the offense seems like it's their driving force. So whenever you have a high potent offense on both
yeah.
sides, it's bound to be a good matchup, no
Mhm.
matter the sport.
Absolutely,
Who
absolutely.
doesn't like scoring?
Who doesn't? Mhm. I guess pitchers don't.
Exactly.
The goalies don't like it.
Mm,
Uh,
Well,
let's get to the NBA finals. Let's discuss the wrap up of that. Really, just the Dallas Minnesota series. I mean, that Boston series is wrapped
yeah,
up already, but in all intended
yeah.
purposes, so
Well,
was the Dallas
it,
series. So we all saw what we
true.
saw. There's really no breaking that one down. Um,
No, I
Minnesota,
mean, honestly, I think Dallas and specifically Luca just decided that he wasn't going to try
yeah,
sweeping it so he could go to the Timberwolves' home and
yeah,
break their hearts at their home instead of just winning
yeah,
in Dallas.
yeah,
I just feel like he's the type of player that just like, oh well, if we win game four, cool, but I really want to go to their place
yeah,
and eliminate them in their home court.
yeah, yeah. No, who you got for um
My pick,
yeah to win?
yeah, my heart is torn. I'm not that torn. I got Dallas. I have Dallas in six.
Yeah,
I have Dallas in six. I don't think the Celtics were there 2, 3 years ago. I can't remember what year they were in it against Golden State. They missed their opportunity.
Yeah.
This Dallas team, they're playing well. They're playing with a defense that I don't know if the Celtics are used to seeing a team that's playing defense the way
Yeah.
they're playing.
Mhm.
Not only am I cheering for them, I think they have a really good chance to beat the Celtics. The concern that I have is that Porzingis is coming back and he's kind of like the driving force in the paint for them. And
Mhm.
when Dallas has this weird thing where they'll have off nights of where their 3 points just will not land.
Yeah.
And against Minnesota, they were banking on being able to drive on into the paint and score there. I don't
Yeah.
think that's gonna. They're
No.
not gonna be able to afford having off nights around the perimeter because
No.
there's not gonna be much room
Yeah.
down in the paint.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be much.
No. And like I'm gonna give a shout out to my favorite law firm, the law offices of Gafford and Lively. Those guys, they will defend that paint with their lives, and it is. I got to tell you, I've never once, Manny, experienced such a swing of not fandom, but of, I guess, assuredness of how I felt about a team of two teams than about Boston and Dallas. I could give two craps about Dallas when this whole thing started. You remember, and I was all, this is Boston's year.
Yep.
Right now, I'm like, Dallas in six. Dallas is going to win this in six
Mm-hmm.
games because
Yep.
as much as people want to talk about the Porzingis factor being back on the court, he has not been on the court since the first round of the playoffs. Well, I don't know what kind of rust
Right.
this dude's going to have, but I can almost guarantee you,
True.
to your point, Porzingis being the linchpin of that offense and driving to the bucket. Tell that to Gafford and Lively. Tell that to them. See what I mean, let them have some say in it. And I'm tired of this like narrative or people trying to build narrative. Ooh, Kyrie's back in Boston. He was there for a cup of coffee. It's not like he didn't really have that much of an effect in Boston. And it's all thing, oh, Porzingis back in
No.
Dallas. It's the same thing. It's a cup of coffee. He was barely there. No one hardly remembers he even played for the Mavericks. So all this talk about the narrative, what I want to focus on are the players on the court. And if you're going to give me that, Boston is talented all around, but Boston does not have two guys that are like Luka and Kyrie. They just don't. Luka and Kyrie change the game in a way that Boston just doesn't have a 1-2 like that. They don't. The only difference is that Horford, I mean, and honestly, I mean, it's kind of the same. Horford can shoot it from deep. Well, you know who else can? So can Lively. Lively can shoot it from deep. So, but then Dallas has two. I'm telling you, it's going to go back to these two bigs. Jason Kidd, the smartest choice he ever had was deciding, okay, I'm going to integrate these two guys, and sometimes they'll be on the court at the same time. I'm going to put these two guys on the court
Mm-hmm.
because both Gafford and Lively can guard the bucket. Gafford, I believe, in my opinion, is more talented in blocking shots than Lively is. But Lively's talented on that end, but he's also got the offensive side to him. Gafford can't shoot
Oh
a bad on
yeah.
paper bag.
He's
But Lively, oh, forget about it.
yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah. Lively's the driving force of the paint for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Luka's stats are significantly have shown whenever Lively was out for, I think it was 2 games. Whenever Lively was out for those 2 games, Luka's statistics were affected because he relies on
Yep.
Lively on the lobs, on the
Mm-hmm.
assists, on
Yeah.
keeping guys inside the paint for that
Yeah.
threat and opening up the offense for Luka. So yeah,
Yeah.
Lively is a driving
Mhm.
force on both ends. And
Yeah.
I've been saying it this entire series, or not this entire series. I've been saying it this entire playoffs. Lively has been growing up in the moment,
Yeah.
and he's figured out who he is, and he is
Yeah.
dominant in
Yeah.
what he is doing this year.
It's
It's great. I love watching him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm more excited watching him sometimes than some of most of the other
Oh,
players.
me too.
Kyrie and Luka,
Yeah.
we know what they're gonna do.
There.
The next guy up, Lively, he's up
Mhm.
there with the
Yeah.
driving factor.
When Lively went out in game 4, I was like, well, this sucks. What am I watching now? Like I was upset that he was
Yeah.
gone. But it's funny you bring up Lively growing up in the moment. because we had a player in the Eastern Conference who had a chance to grow up in a moment, and that was Tyrese Halliburton. We had a we got to watch him maybe grow up in the moment, and he disappeared at times. We got to see even just on the T Wolves, we got to see Anthony Edwards grow up in a moment, and we've learned he's got a lot of growth. He's got a lot more to do.
Yeah.
And Anthony Edwards has
Hmm.
worlds more talent than Lively does, but Lively understood what his mission was. He understood what he had to do,
Yeah.
and he played the part perfectly. Perfectly.
Yep. He did. He is one of the more stable. I would consider him the most consistent and stable player on both sides of the court.
Yeah.
Because all the other players that we're going to be talking about, Tatum, Brown, Luca,
Hmm.
Porzingis, like all these guys on and off. We've seen it the
Yeah.
entire playoffs. Like they're on
Yeah.
and off. The one guy that has been in the moment ever
Hmm.
since like round one, where he looked a little bit lost, kind of probably overwhelmed in
Yeah.
the moment of playoff basketball.
Hmm.
He has been consistent. He knows his role. He's doing it well. He doesn't do more than is asked out of him,
Yeah.
but he sure as hell is going to do what is asked of him. He's
Oh,
not
yeah.
never going to cut
Hmm.
it short.
Yeah. And am I mistaken, or wasn't the last time Dallas was in the finals was 2011? Wasn't Jason Kidd on that squad?
Yeah,
So now
he
he's got to
was with
because yep, because
Nowitzki.
they won that year, didn't they? Wasn't that the one that Dallas won? So he's got a chance not only
Yep.
to win it with Dallas as a player, but he's got a chance to win it with Dallas as the head coach, which I think is super cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be
That'd
great.
be awesome.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for him. I hope it happens. I
Yeah.
know it's not. We're talking here like we're sitting here and almost verbalizing that the Celtics don't have a chance. They'll have
They
every
have
chance in the
every
world to
chance.
dominate that
They've had
game.
every chance every year. And I think that but I
Yeah.
think because of that history, we can sit here and say, all right, Boston, look, you have all the talent in the world. Now is your chance to show us. Show us what you have. Show us.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I
This is what we all. This was it. What do they call it? The litmus test. This is
yeah.
what we all wanted to
Hmm.
see. We wanted it.
Yeah.
We knew what you were gonna do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We knew you were gonna dominate the
Hmm.
regular season. We saw it coming since December.
Yeah.
Like we wanted. We've been waiting to
Hmm.
see not if you're gonna make the finals.
Yeah.
We were waiting to see it when you made the finals.
Hmm.
What type of
Yeah.
team you were gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah. No one was sitting there saying, "Oh, is Boston going to make it?" No, we knew Boston was going to be here. No one expected
Yeah.
Dallas to be here. No one expected that.
Nope.
That wasn't
Mm-mm.
until midway through that we're like, "Ooh, maybe." When they beat, what was it? Was it
OKC.
OKC? When they beat OKC in the second
Yep.
round, I was like, "Okay,
Hmm.
all right, we'll see what happens. Maybe there's something there." So, but yeah, so we both got
What is
Dallas.
it? What is it that what what is your going to be your key watching point for this series?
Um, my key watching point is to see how uh, shoot, not what the hell was his name? I can't. Tatum. I can't remember his
Tatum?
name. My,
I figured it was
I
Tatum.
can't remember. I was like, that's not Jalen Brown. My key thing here is going to see how Jason Tatum responds because
Hmm.
Jason Tatum, because the best Jason Tatum was right. It wasn't at the end of the series when they were crushing Indiana. It was in that. It was in game three when Indiana was up by 18, and Jason Tatum's shots were not they were not hitting, and he decided I'm just going to
Right.
keep dishing it to Horford. Horford's going to shoot from beyond the three, and that's it. I want to see how Jason Tatum does against a squad that is far superior to the teams that they have played so far. Dallas is
Hmm.
above and beyond better than Miami, even with Jimmy Butler. Dallas is above and beyond better than Cavaliers, even with Donovan Mitchell. And Dallas is above
Oh,
and
for sure.
beyond way better than Indiana, even with Halliburton healthy.
Hmm.
Dallas is a team that you cannot take a break against. You cannot do it because Minnesota, a team known for its defense, Minnesota got torn to shreds in that game 4 win, Minnesota played the most perfect game that they had played in a month. And Dallas only lost that game by what, 5 points? 5?
Yeah,
So
the free
yeah,
throw,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
the free throw Luca misses, and it changes
Hmm.
the entire projection of the game. The game only had 12 seconds left, but even we all knew if Luca makes
Yeah.
this, hey, the sweep is still on. If if
Yeah.
if I get that Porzingis is coming back, but if Jason Tatum cannot be on top of his game, if he cannot play like the series of his life, Boston does not stand a chance. They just don't. They don't. As
That's
much as
fair.
I love Drew
That's fair.
Holiday, as much as Horford is showing that he is ageless, and as much as Porzingis provides that spark on the offense, that offense begins and ends with Tatum. That team begins and
Hmm.
ends with him. And so if Tatum is off, they lose the series.
I mean, and by definition, it's what is bound to happen.
Mhm.
He's supposed to be their A1 player.
Yeah,
If their A1 player is off,
yeah,
you don't build a backup for an A1 player.
yeah,
You have the A1 player for that reason to dominate and take control of a game. So yeah, if he's
yeah,
not on his game,
mhm,
yeah, of course
yeah,
they're bound to lose.
yeah.
What I'm watching is specifically Washington. That is going to be
Mm,
my player to watch
yeah,
this series. We've I, we discussed Kyrie. Kyrie has found this leadership style that has
mhm,
been helping Lively and all these young
yeah.
players grow. Luca's
He's a
gonna do
different
Luca
player
thing on the other
entirely.
side. Tatum, Brown, Hoffer.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. So all these players the marquee players that everybody knows. We know what we're gonna get out of
yeah,
them. Sure, we're gonna be watching what version of Tatum we get. But whenever matchup to matchup, Kyrie and Luca are going to be matching up against
yeah,
Brown and Tatum. We get that. So that's going to come up to who's the third and fourth player that's going to be
yeah,
scoring the offense, and that's going to
mm,
have to be Washington. So
yeah,
he's had his moments. He's had his great moments. He's
yeah.
had moments where he's dominating the offense, but he's also had moments where he is missing wide open
Oh yeah,
shots whenever
hmm,
Luca needs him to
yeah,
be hit his
yeah,
shots. So that's the player that is going to make or break the series for
yeah,
Dallas.
yeah,
I know Kyrie and Luca are going to be clutch in the fourth. I get it. But you still need somebody else
yeah,
because you're bound to get
mm,
double teamed. You're bound to have to get
yeah,
that an additional player. You have five
mm,
guys on the court. You need those
yeah,
guys to step up. I
yep,
mean, it's
yeah,
like I'm stating the obvious, but yet you have five guys on the court.
yeah,
You need all five guys to do their job. We already
yeah,
said Lively's consistent enough to like not worry about him. Kyrie, Luca, we know what we're getting out of him. So that's going to leave PJ Washington and then
yeah,
whoever their fifth is,
mm,
whatever that rotation looks like. So PJ Washington is my key player to watch to make. He's going to be the pulse
mhm,
as I watch to see what type of game Dallas is going
absolutely,
to put
yeah,
on. Not
yeah,
necessarily saying
mhm,
I'm not saying he's going to be the one that wins them games. No,
yeah,
he's going to be the driving force behind
yeah,
how they're operating
yeah.
because of all the details that we've been
Yeah.
discussing.
And full disclosure, the reason I didn't pick PJ is because I knew you were going to hit on him. You are such a PJ stan. It's ridiculous. But you are exactly correct because Boston will have at times double up on Luca. It will have to happen.
Oh yeah.
In those moments in the past where Luca's depended on PJ's going to have to show up every time. He's going to have to. And so you are, I mean, like correct in your assessment and PJ being the X factor because he needs to be the X factor. He is the X factor. We,
Mhm.
we talk about Gafford and
Mhm.
Lively, Kyrie's leadership, Luca. Of course, he's Luca, but when you throw PJ in there, PJ's gonna be the guy that when Luca is doubled and Kyrie is too busy, being on Jalen, you know, uh, PJ's going to have to step up. He has to step up.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we're
Yeah.
doing matchups, I see a lot more Drew on Kyrie. I think you'll see old guard on old guard right there, and then
Oh, okay.
um, because I love Jalen, but Drew, he's at 34. He's still got that quickness. He's still so quick. He's so
He is.
he's got this deception about him still, where like, and if you put him on Kyrie, Kyrie does some magic with the ball, but I feel like Drew's the best one to be on Kyrie in those moments. And if Drew's not on Kyrie, Drew's got to be on Luka. And if Drew's on Luka, then that's when the
Oh
double team starts. Because I don't think you could put Drew just one on one with Luka. I think you put Tatum and
no.
Drew on Luka. I mean, yeah. Tatum and Drew on Luka, and then you put Jalen Brown maybe on Kyrie, or you put Porzingis on Kyrie, put Jalen on PJ Washington. Horford's got his own things he's got to worry about because if Lively's on the court, Horford's going to be on Lively. That's just a fact. And if Gafford's on the court, Horford's going to be on Gafford too because it's going to be less work for Horford on when they're on the defensive side. But it's just
Right.
I. But you were exactly correct. PJ is going to be the X factor for Dallas, and
Yeah.
more than likely in this entire series, because like I said, Luca will
hmm
be double teamed, and Luca's gonna rely on PJ to be the one
Yeah.
to
And
get those buckets.
not only that, we've noticed through the series, Kyrie has taken this role similar to what Drew Holiday has been doing, where he sits back first half. Speaking of
Yeah.
Kyrie right now,
Mhm.
Kyrie for the first half, he'll get on a good half. He's been getting like 10 points,
Yeah.
maybe,
Mhm.
because he's watching to see what the need is for his
Oh
team.
yeah. Mhm.
And then third,
Mhm.
fourth quarter, he kicks it on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be the assist guy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be the guy that I'm gonna be the point guard. I'm gonna be the
Yeah.
scorer. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So we during that time where Kyrie's observing the offense, one of the things that he's most likely gonna be observing is Washington. Are you gonna be the guy that's gonna be
Yeah.
hitting the baskets?
Mhm.
Because you can't expect Luka to score 50 points in the
No.
half. So he's gonna
Yeah.
need that other guy.
Yeah.
And similar to like Drew Holiday, his defense is I liked what they've been doing with Drew Holiday, where he's kind of like a float, like the float
Yeah.
guy.
He is.
Like
Yeah. Mhm.
he's probably not going to be stuck on a single guy, but whatever guy is maybe
Mhm.
not like not the one that's like in the moment, but he's going to be the guy that helps
Yeah.
calm down that fire whenever a guy starts getting hot. He'll be that guy. He's
Absolutely.
not going to be
Yeah.
stuck on one guy. He'll be defending
He will
as
be.
needed,
Yeah.
and he's been
Yeah.
killing it at that. So
He has been.
if
Yeah.
anything, I would say he's going to be the X factor for the Celtics.
Yeah. And I would agree with that too. And it's absolutely going to hold true because there's going to be times Luka's not in the game, and then that's when Kyrie's moment's going to show up. Because if you look at the stat lines, Luka has blown up the stat line just almost a near triple double this entire postseason, or at least at least this
Yeah.
last series and the end of the OKC
hmm
series. But when Luka's not there, Kyrie's been lighting it up too, at least with the buckets. He's been, I mean, a 30
Yeah.
point guy almost. So, but when Luka's not on the
hmm
court, there's going to be less double team, but there's going to be more emphasis on guarding Kyrie, and then PJ's still going to have to be there to pick up the offense, especially. And like
Agreed.
I'm hoping that when Luka sits, that's when Lively's on the court. If Luka is on the court, you can rest Lively, you can put Gafford on there, and then you can interchange them. But if Luka's on the bench, you need as many point opportunities that you can get when Mr. NBA all points is on the bench. So, and if Luka's on there, then that's the moment for Lively to be on the court. I mean, it has to
hmm
happen. I mean, you have to, like, to your point, five guys. You have to maximize because Boston can score. When Boston gets on a heater, they get on a heater, and they get on it quick, and they stay on it. But if Dallas has a way to counteract with that, then all the better for Dallas. But even talking about it, I feel even more confident Dallas is going to win this in six. I just do because I just don't see PJ not showing up. I just don't. I think he might have a few cold spells, but I think that's just going to last for maybe a quarter in this game or that game. I don't think it's going to. I honestly don't think he's going to disappear for whole games. It's not going to happen. I really don't. So, or at
We'll
least I
see.
hope it
Yeah,
doesn't.
we'll see.
Yeah. So
He had his moments. He had his halves.
he did.
Really game four.
He did.
He completely disappeared game four against the Timberwolves. So he has had his
Yeah.
moments. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
Yeah.
like he's either on it all game or off all game. Like
Yeah.
he's consistently
Yeah.
like regathered himself in a game.
Yeah.
Besides the one game that
Yeah.
I'm referencing.
And I think what helps is the mere fact that he has another guy on his squad that he's seen grow up in the moment in Lively. And maybe PJ takes
Hmm.
that as a source of like, no, anything you can do, I can do better. So just, kind of
Yeah.
just going, tit for tat there. So, all right, let's segue into baseball. Um, let's talk about how weak the National League is. Good Lord. The the AL Central, so the National League has four teams total above 500 right now. Four.
Uh-huh. Yep.
The AL Central has four teams above 500 alone, and one of them's not the White Sox. So you can guess who the other four are because there's only five teams. But it is such a weak division. It's such a weak not division. It's a weak league. The National League is so top heavy right now, and you have so many teams playing such mid ball right now, and it's like, man, this is not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch at
Yeah.
all.
Well,
And but
agreed.
what I love about the month of June is that by the end of this month, like at the end of May, if a team is legit. So the Phillies are legit because they've done nothing but continue what they did in April. The Yankees are better than they were in April, so they're absolutely legit. I really hate saying that. I hate the fact that I keep saying the Yankees are legit. I'm waiting for them to fall off a cliff because Aaron Boone is such a douchebag. But the fact that they just keep going, they find ways to win, and it's whether
Hmm.
it's pitching or it's hitting or they don't give any other team a chance to hit or pitch. Like at the same time, it's mind-boggling how well the Yankees are doing right now. Because I'm looking at the Orioles in second place, and because of how I've seen the Yankees play the last decade plus, I'm like, how bad is Baltimore? Baltimore's not bad. They're not bad at all. It's just
No.
no one ever saw Carlos Rodon come in here and be like, Garrett Cole's not here. I got you. Don't worry about it. Like no one saw this happening. No one saw this happening at all.
No. No, no. Everybody was concerned about the Yankees pitching. The moment Garrett Cole went out, everybody was like, "Oh my God,
Oh,
the
please go
Yankees
get
don't
Blake
have
Snell.
depth.
Please
The
get Blake
rotation
Snell.
is off." Yes, I was one of those guys. I was like, "We need a second. We need another all-star pitcher." And
Man,
now I'm over here saying, I reserve the right to change my mind. We're good. We don't need it. Yeah,
I
I
never asked
never
for
had a doubt in my mind.
never asked for Blake Snell. What you talking about? Come on now. He's garbage. He's always hurt.
Oh, Flake Snell,
Um,
that guy's doing the worst. He's the worst freaking signing ever.
the worst. But watching the American League and like it's watching the Tigers play, watching the Royals still tear it up. And the Royals are a team to take seriously, but wherever they are at the end of June, then I'm gonna be like, okay, this team is a real threat in October. If they stay on the trajectory that they are, this team is a real threat. Because not only that, JJ Piccolo, the GM for Kansas City, he will go out and go get a starter. He will get an ace.
Hmm.
He will bring an ace to Kansas City. He the Royals has done the Royals have done it once. They'll do it again. And so the um the the Indians, I know you're gonna course correct me, but they're always this it Cleveland's an enigma to me. I like Cleveland is the one team where if they're doing well at the end of June, I still don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
And the fact that the Twins are above 500 is astounding to me. It's astounding because this team has had just as many double digit winning streaks as they had losing streaks. Like I don't know who this team is. I don't know how. I don't know if it's just a testament to just during that winning streak they played the White Sox 10 times. I don't know what happened there. I didn't dig into the schedule, but it's just astounding to me that the AL Central is the team with 4 teams above 500 right now. When you have the AL East with the Yankees, the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays. What is going on with Toronto? I Vlad
I don't
Jr.
know.
promised us that we were just watching the trailer to a movie. Well, I gotta tell you, Vladito, this movie sucks. It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Might not finish watching this one.
This is worse than a Marvel film written by AI. This is terrible. Like I mean, my goodness. I just they need to
They're
blow up
rough.
that team. They need to.
Yeah,
They need
I
to
mean,
blow it up and just start
they
over.
haven't done anything.
They haven't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not doing. They're like, I don't think they have like a clear path in front of them. They're just like, oh, let's
Yeah.
pick up a player. Well, that player doesn't really fit what you're doing. Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Well, let's try picking up another good player.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense. There's
Mhm.
no like foundation of what they are trying to build. It doesn't make sense at all. So yeah, as much as I don't think we sat here at any point and gave them any credit that they're going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I didn't
they're
expect
worse
them
than
to
what
be
I was.
this. I expected them to
Yeah,
finish maybe
exactly.
third in the AL East. Third.
Hmm.
Maybe be just on the
Yeah,
precipice of a
I
wild
was the
card.
one that sat here and said the Red Sox are going to be the worst team. They're in third place right now. Like I sat here and said, there's no damn chance the Red Sox are going to do squat this year,
Yeah.
and they're in third place.
Yeah.
Toronto is making the Red Sox look good.
Tampa's making the Red Sox look good. Good Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
true. Also true.
watching American League Baseball has been a lot of fun. Just because of all the parody in it. Like, and there's a lot of mid-level parody in the National League, but when you have the Reds who were before today they were 5 games below 500, but they're only like 4 games out of the last wild card. Like that's how bad
Yeah,
your league is doing. If you have a team 5 games below 500 and they're just outside the wild card, they're right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
I feel like the
It's not good.
Rockies.
It
I
ain't
feel
good.
like the Rockies still have a chance. Hell, if the White Sox were in the National League, they still have a chance.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's just
It's an open season on that side.
mhm. Yeah, but just watching, my being able to get through 2 months of baseball, see where everyone is. Um, I'm waiting to see just how June unravels itself. I'm waiting to see what happens in June.
Hmm.
Um, and honestly, I'm hoping that trades start to happen a lot sooner. And I'm hoping they start in the Padres. They've already made a trade. It looks like they're going to trade for Garrett Crochet now, the ace for the White Sox. And I hope they do. I hope they trade away everything for one guy. But they've done that 6 times in the last 15 minutes, and it never ceases to affect how many players they got in the minor leagues. I don't know where they're filling the minor leagues at. They all got the same amount of draft picks as everybody else. I don't know what's happening here, but they just we're fine. Yeah, the next year they're not going to have a single A team. It's just, hey guys, we don't have enough
Yeah.
players. We forfeit the season. Everyone's in high A, double A, and triple A. There's no low A. There's no rookie league anymore. It's just these 4 teams. I don't know where they're getting these players from, man. I just don't.
Yeah. They're treating their real life team like a 14-year-old treats his video game. I don't know
Yeah,
this player. Trade him away. I don't need
it's
him. He's
fine.
never played for me. Trade this guy away too. It's like, oh shoot,
Good.
I don't have
Yeah.
any players left.
Yeah. I'm in GM mode now.
All
It's
my players
fine.
are hurt. I don't have anybody to bring up.
Yeah. It's so unreal. But the more players the
Yeah, it's
Padres
crazy.
get, the more mid they stay. They can never get better. They had Juan Soto and they got worse. Like I don't understand
Yep.
how you have the top two best baseball player in the world and you get worse.
They got Tatis back, and they're just as bad. They're,
Let's talk
it's
about like Tatis
it's
is
not.
just like his okay as a center fielder. I would make the argument he is probably the best center fielder there is in baseball. There's no one better defensively. On offense, his strength must have been in the PEDs because in the accidental Neosporin he rubbed on his elbow. That must have been the source of his strength because he is not good at the plate. And I mean
No,
you
he's
can
struggling.
yeah, it's just but the Padres, the Diamondbacks are not doing what I thought they were doing. The Giants are exactly who I thought they'd be, and the Rockies are still
Mm-mm.
a team. So that's where we are. The
There
Rockies
you go.
still
There's
exist.
your summary. There's your summary. They haven't been relegated. Still, we're still banking on relegation. It'll
It just won't happen. It'll never happen. No, it won't.
be a great day.
Um, let's move on to our second new favorite segment, our Mount Rushmore. So, do you
Heck
want to go
yeah!
first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. All right. I will go first.
We don't have a roulette sound uploaded today, so we're just gonna run with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I will pick. Um. Number.
Oh, here's the sound.
Oh, you got it.
What is your number, JB?
I pick number 8.
Number 8. Lucky, not so lucky. Number 8 gives you the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh, the Seattle Birds. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. This is not to have any recency bias. Um,
None at all.
but I will at first pick because this is hard. I because those two Super Bowls they went to were really good. Um, let's see. All right, I'm gonna go first and foremost. I'm gonna go Marshawn Lynch. I'll pick Marshawn.
Oh,
Okay.
whoa,
Yeah,
no,
no.
what?
Everybody start hating me now. Shoot me. Um, I'll go Marshawn Lynch just because he was the heart and soul of that Super Bowl winning team that they had. What 2011 was it?
Ooh, I don't. No, that's too far.
Was it 20? I can't. But the
Russell
early,
Wilson didn't start.
yeah.
Russell Wilson was on the team in 2013 when he took over, so it must have been like 14 or 15.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the early to mid aughts of the 2000s. Steve
Mm-hmm.
Largent, who is considered um, uh, by many, I believe, or from what I've heard, like the the greatest wide receiver in Seahawks history. Um, so I got Marshawn Lynch. I got Steve Largent. Um, I'll go Pete Carroll. Let's go Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Pete
I was
Carroll
actually
brought.
wondering if you were going to put him on there.
I mean, Pete Carroll brought such swagger to that team for a decade. Like there was never a year where the Seahawks weren't in it because of Pete Carroll. Um,
True.
and I don't want to pick Russell Wilson. I kind of want to
You don't.
go. I kind of want to. I want to cheat and pick the Legion of Boom. I want to pick. I want
The
to pick
whole
all.
Legion.
I want to pick the whole Legion. I want to do. This is my Mount Rushmore. I'm sure there's 4-headed Siamese twins out there. Um, I'm gonna do. Oh shoot! You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Legion of Boom because
Oh,
that.
go find an 8 peak mountain. Got it.
Well, it's one picture with 4 heads on it, but it's just one of those, like, even today, like, and it wasn't that long ago, but you talked about those guys, especially Richard Sherman and the boys, and
Hmm.
just how dominant they were. For all of for all of football history, we've had the Purple People Eaters, we've had the Dome Patrol, we've had those front four, those front seven guys. But this was like the first time that in my lifetime that I'm like, yo, that secondary, yeah, it's dangerous. Don't mess with that secondary.
Hmm.
Um, so
Hmm.
I will go with Pete Carroll, and no disrespect to Russell Wilson. This is not a recency bias because he can't throw a football anymore. No, this is I'm going with Pete Carroll. I'm going Steve Largent. I'm going Marshawn Lynch. Oh no, I can't. No, hold on.
Oh, you're stumped now.
No Legion of Boom.
Please tell me
Sean
okay.
Alexander. I'm gonna go Sean
Okay.
Alexander, Marshawn Lynch, Steve Largent, and Pete Carroll. Sean Alexander was one of my favorite players to watch. That dude was fun to see carry a football. And the Seahawks sucked when he was with them. But man, I gotta tell you, like watching Sean Alexander was like everyone is like wondering. Everyone's like, "Oh, Marshawn Lynch." I'm like, "Yeah, y'all don't remember Sean Alexander? That dude, like that dude can run like circles around you. He ran over you. I mean, I believe he actually set the single season record for touchdown rushes. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if that hadn't been broken
I would be
already.
surprised if that's true.
I think he had 21 or
Dickerson had
27,
20,
21 or
21.
27 rushing
No
touchdowns in a
way.
season.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to
So
fact check you on that one.
fact
I've
check me.
never heard that being the case for
So
the
this
record.
is
Yeah.
it: Sean Alexander, Marshawn Lynch, Pete Carroll, Steve Largent. Those are my top four.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's spin the
So
wheel
I
for
was
you, sir.
initially going to,
Oh, go ahead.
well, let me criticize
Yeah.
you just a little bit because I was going to initially uh, criticize your Legion of Boom take, not because I disagree with the Legion of Boom, but Earl Thomas was the driving force of the Legion of Boom. So I would have put specifically him. I know Richard Sherman and whatever. Earl
Yeah.
Thomas was there. He was a tenured guy. He
Yeah.
was the leader in the defense. So
Yeah.
when you were choosing the Legion of Boom, I would have gone Earl Thomas, and then he
Earl
took off the
Thomas.
Legion of Boom. And
Yeah.
I still feel like Earl Thomas should be on there.
No, if anything,
That's my one critique on that.
it should be Roman Gabriel. That's who should be on it.
Oh, okay.
No, let's so that's my four. Any other criticisms other than I
Okay.
didn't put Mr.
No.
Mr. Earl Thomas on there? No? Okay.
Oh yeah, he flipped off Pete Carroll. How that's like the best person you can ever have. He flipped off Pete Carroll on the field.
I mean, that is funny. I mean, that is what I work for you? Okay. Yeah, sure. All right, yeah. What are you gonna do
Oh,
about it?
fuck you too, dude.
Are you gonna pitch me? Yeah.
Just simply his character deserves a Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore consideration. All right, let me spin the wheel for me. Hang on.
What's your number?
All right. I will be getting number 32.
Ooh, 32? Mr. Manny, man with the knee. You have the Tennessee
Bad knee,
Titans.
but yes.
Tennessee Titans, my friend. The Tennessee Titans.
Oh God. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's figure this out. Prior Houston Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure. Okay. Off the top of the head, Derrick Henry has to be up there. Like that's a no doubter.
Okay.
He,
Yeah.
I think he's the one reason he kept the Titans relevant when they were like, let's rebuild, but like we'll rebuild around Derrick Henry, and then
Mm-hmm.
somehow the rebuild ended up getting him like first in the conference for 2-3 years. So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so yeah, that has to be one.
Okay.
Um, let me say Warren Moon.
Oh, okay,
Warren
good.
Moon is
All
a.
right.
I think
Okay. Good.
that's an easy one. He was during the strictly during the Oilers tenure,
Yeah.
but I think he helped the Titans make the playoffs 7 years in a row, which
Mm-hmm.
by itself is hard to do. Well,
Yeah.
disregarding the Chiefs and the Patriots of recent years, but Warren Moon,
Yeah.
uh, um, Steve. I want to say Steve Young, but he didn't really do anything. He's just
Steve Young never played for
a big name.
Steve Young never played for them.
Are you sure?
Steve Young, the
Yes,
quarterback
the
for the
young of the
Niners.
version.
There,
No, not Steve Young.
there,
Oh my God,
there was a Steve quarterback that played for them for Houston and Tennessee. The same
not
guy.
Young.
I'll
Yeah,
give you a hint.
no.
His
Either
nickname
way,
was Air.
no. I wasn't even true. I'm going with Steve McNair.
There you go, Air
Is
McNair.
that who you're talking
Yeah,
about?
Air McNair. Yeah,
No, I was thinking.
that's
I'm
it.
thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of another. No, no. I know that. I'm just thinking of another Vince Young. I'm thinking of Vince Young. Oh, got the first name
Oh,
wrong. I
you
was
got
thinking of Vince Young.
okay.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
wasn't. I wasn't choosing him. I was just. It was on the top of my head because he was such a big name for the
Yeah,
Titans during his tenure there, but he didn't do anything for them.
yeah.
But the alternative is McNair. He was the dominant force. He was also he won co MVP in 2013, and
Hmm.
he was on the team when they switched from Oilers to Titans, and he was the first. I know this for a fact. He was the first African American quarterback to win the MVP.
Hmm.
So he'll be my second.
I think the Titans switched over
Is
to
that
the Titans in
no?
'99. I think '99 is when that happened.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
either way, I'm going sticking with
I
my disclaimer.
know that for a
I am
fact.
not of the old era. Okay. Well, my disclaimer on that is I am not of the old era, so
The
I'm not
old era
tracking
was
the Oilers
'99.
as well. I was four. I was four.
I was in high school. All right, whatever.
So Steve McNair. So that puts me at 3,
So
right?
who do you have
I
right now?
am Chris
Derrick
Johnson,
Henry. Yeah, Derrick Henry,
Derrick Henry,
Warren Moon,
um,
and Steve McNair.
Warren Moon, Steve McNair.
Okay,
I said Steve Johnson just now because he's the one that's on the back of my brain. I want to go with him. I think that's going to be the controversial one.
I'm going to ask who is Steve Johnson?
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson. Why?
Yes, Chris Johnson. C2K. He broke the all-time 40-yard dash. Everybody was chasing his freaking 40-yard dash for the last 20 years until it all of a sudden became a norm. He was like the first guy to have a 4.2 40-yard dash.
You're going to pick him because
C2K,
what he
like
did in the underwear Olympics? So that's why you
that,
pick.
and also he was one. Was it he? It might, again, like I said, it might be controversial, but I feel like
It's
his
definitely
name
controversial.
goes hand in hand with the Titans. Well, I I embrace the critique, but Chris Johnson is my fourth pick. C2K
Okay.
was a thing my entire upbringing. Who was gonna break C2 Chris Johnson's 40-yard dash? 2K,
Okay.
he was one of the first guys to do 2,000 yards. Like, come on now, recency
Okay.
bias maybe, but he's not
All
even
right.
that recent. I'm only
Okay.
so I'm gonna go with those four.
Okay.
So
All
sue
right.
me.
All right. I've got a couple of guys that could easily be on there other than Chris Johnson. Eddie George is one of them. Eddie George, if it wasn't for Derrick Henry, would be the greatest running back in Houston/Tennessee history. Eddie George was
No, because
phenomenal.
Chris Johnson was there.
Okay.
Chris Johnson was doing the same kind of
I
stuff.
don't care
Like
about
same thing with
Chris Johnson.
Alexander. He would make
I'm not going to compare Eddie George to Chris Johnson. I'm not doing it.
why? Because he didn't win anything. He
Eddie
was
George didn't win anything either.
he carried the team just as much.
Eddie George
I'm
didn't
just
win
saying, why are
anything
you
either.
hating on him?
He was
That's
on
all
those
I'm saying.
crappy Oiler teams forever.
I'm just saying, why are you hating on Chris? Let me look up Chris Johnson.
But I got Eddie George and I got
I
Javon
am
Curse. The
okay. Yeah,
defensive
I don't
end for
know.
he was drafted by the Titans. I think it was their first year as the Tennessee Titans. He was drafted. He was their number one pick.
Yeah, well, I don't know him. My brain starts with Chris Johnson. He was like the name behind
You're
the
such
Titans as I grew up.
you're such
I
a
don't know
zoomer.
why. I am.
Ah,
I, by all means, everybody comment. Tell me where I'm wrong. Give me a good argument on why
gotta
Chris
be
Johnson
AJ
doesn't deserve
Brown.
at least recognition.
He's so good.
He was good.
He's so good in my lifetime.
so here's the thing. Here's like my like not honorable mention because he didn't do great things, but Vrabel kept that team relevant and did some magical work
Yeah,
with the team again, like with Derrick Henry, a team that wasn't supposed to have anything in the works to be good. He got them first in the conference. Like Vrabel was a great coach for them recently,
he
so
was.
that was like an honorable mention, but not really up there.
Okay.
So those are my four.
Okay.
Crucify me if you must.
I already did. No one's gonna beat that crucifixion. Let's see.
Let's go over let's go over their schedules real quick.
Hold on. I had Marshawn, Sean Alexander, Steve Largent. Who else?
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll. That's it. I'm writing this down. And then you had Eddie George 4 times.
Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Warren Moon. Derrick Henry.
Steve
Warren
McNair.
Moon. Steve McNair. And Chris Johnson.
I will laugh at that picture
Tell me about your
for
schedule.
the
How
rest of my days. Okay.
really? At least he actually played for the Titans.
Hey, so did
I
Roman.
won't bring up your Lions.
So did Roman Gabriel.
Roman Gabriel.
All right.
Exactly.
Roman Gabriel played from
All right,
hardcore.
let's go.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's go over your picks real quick, JB.
All right. So go ahead. Walk me through it. Okay.
Okay, week 1 they're gonna be playing the Broncos,
See where home?
hosting the Broncos.
Win.
Hosting, yes. On a Sunday,
That's a win.
week
No,
1.
a win. That's a victory.
Oh,
A
I
W.
thought you
That's a
said
W.
when.
The sixth W. Who, what, when, where, why, and when. Yeah.
Okay, that's a win. Next, they will be going to play New England, so they will be visiting the Patriots.
That is a W.
Okay, and then they will be hosting the Dolphins.
L.
Okay, they will be visiting the Lions.
L.
Okay, they'll be hosting the Giants.
W.
Giants. Who's even that team anymore?
Is that even a team?
They will be hosting. Yeah, no, not in my books. They will be hosting the Niners.
Can that count as 2 L's? That's what's going to happen. That's an L.
Sure. Moral. That was a moral victory, according to Jerry Jones. There's always a moral victory and a moral loss. So yeah.
That's what.
Then they will be
Yeah,
going.
that's what his
they will be-
ex-wife said. That was a moral victory.
They'll
All right.
they will be going to Atlanta.
L.
Okay. Hosting the Bills.
L.
So they're 3-5 right now.
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. They will be hosting the Rams.
W.
Okay. They will be visiting the Niners. Wait, what? There must be a typo. No, sorry. No, they'll be at the Niners.
At the Niners. I'll put W because they have the bye week right before that.
They do, yes.
Okay.
And then they will be hosting the Cardinals. So right now they're 5-5.
That's a W for them. Yeah.
Yes, 5-5.
I have them at 6
Okay,
and 5
6
right
and
now.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they will be going to the Jets.
W.
And then they will be going to Arizona playing the Cardinals.
L. Arizona always seems to come
And then
alive
they will
at
be
the end of the
hosting.
season.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that team is anymore. They'll be hosting the Packers.
L.
Hosting the Vikings.
W.
And they will be traveling to Chicago
W.
to play the Bears.
I have them at
And
9
then
and
they
8.
will be going to the Rams.
Oh, for week
The
18?
Rams is the last game. Yeah.
That's an L. So I'll have them finishing 9 and 8.
Okay. That's not bad. Seattle's kind of in the middle of something. Their
Yeah.
first time head coach, whatever. I don't.
Okay.
If you put a team that has a new head coach and is kind of in the between figuring out who they're going to be for the next 5 years,
Yeah.
9 and 8 would be a success.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that defense isn't going to be the issue. I have a problem believing Geno Smith is going to continue to be Geno Smith, or the Geno Smith
Right.
that we've seen. Because
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, he regressed last year compared to the year prior.
He did. He got benched.
Yeah. So, all right, let's do Tennessee. Okay, week 1 at the Bears. The Bears.
Tennessee wins.
Okay. Took a really long time to come up with that one. Good lord.
Well, if week 1 is like a toss up, the Bears could like whatever.
No, they won't.
Like nobody knows who they are. Okay. Well, either way, I gave them the
That
win.
will
It's fine.
require Caleb Williams to keep his head on straight. Week 2, they host the Jets.
L for the Titans.
Whoa! You really? I don't understand this animosity you have.
If Rodgers,
You hate the Titans, and I
don't have anything against them.
I
don't.
This whole
If
whole
anything,
process, you have done nothing. Every time I said Tennessee's gonna be special, what are you talking about? Tennessee Volunteers? Look, you have.
let me tell you. Last episode, I sat here and had the Raiders at like 3-11. Let's not act like I'm being hating on freaking Titans for being 1-1 right now.
It's taking a long time for them to determine if they're going to beat the Bears. Okay, week 3, they host Green Bay.
Okay, they'll lose to Green Bay.
Okay. At Miami, Monday Night Football.
Lose to Miami. Well, Tua doesn't play well in prime time. They'll figure it
Does
out
Tua
this year.
ever play well?
They'll lose to Miami.
Okay. Has he ever played well?
Ask him. I don't know.
Week
I don't know.
six.
Ask him.
Week 6, they have their bye week in week 5. Week 6, they host Indianapolis.
That's an. Ooh, they'll beat Indianapolis.
Okay. All right. Week 7, they are at Buffalo.
Buffalo. Ooh. Buffalo will beat them.
Okay. Week 8, they are at Detroit.
Detroit will beat them. You know, like
Okay.
my quick response on that.
I got no, because that makes sense. That's smart. They host New England in week 9.
They'll beat New England.
At the Chargers, week 10.
Oh.
And this is hard because I don't know who the Chargers are going to be this
So here's.
year.
I was about to say that. Here's my thing. I feel like the Chargers are like in a non-verbalized rebuild.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give the Titans the win.
Okay. Week 11, host Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota wins.
Week 12, they go to Houston.
Oh, you already know I'm high
I
on
know.
Houston right now.
I
Houston's gonna
know.
beat them.
I know. They got beer flavored nipples. I know. Week 13, they go to the Redskins.
Oh, let me think about this one. They'll beat the Commanders.
How dare you go against Jaden Daniels? Okay. Week 14,
Jaden Daniels might be hurt by then.
your favorite quarterback, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
The Jags will win this game.
It took you a long time to come up with that. You hate the Jaguars more than you hate the Titans. Okay. All right.
I was laughing. I was laughing at the Jaguars.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give you that. Week 15, they stay at home to play the Who Day Bengals.
The Bengals will beat them.
All right. Here's your litmus test. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Forget. Week 16, they go to Indianapolis.
They will lose to Indianapolis.
Whoa! Hey-o. All right.
They'll split with them. So
They go
that's fine.
back and play Jacksonville. In Jacksonville.
Jacksonville will sweep them. As much as I don't like Trevor Lawrence right now,
Wait, you picked the Jaguars to win
yeah.
the previous game too?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the Titans were going to win that game. Okay. So you think
No, the Jaguars will win that game.
Whoa! Week 18, they host Houston.
They're going to be swept by Houston. Actually, pause. Houston might not have much to be playing for, so I think they'll lose that game.
You think Houston will lose? Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'm counting the W's because it's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have Tennessee Titans finishing 6 and 11. You hate
Am I
every
wrong?
team.
Am I really wrong?
The Dallas Cowboys are about to go undefeated. Everyone else is going to have
Am I really wrong?
If it was just you doing this, the Cowboys would be the only one with a record better than 500. It'd be the only
Above 500?
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
No, I mean, am I really that? Let's think about it. New coach, the running back is gone. Their freaking quarterback is like barely figuring out who they are. Their running back is Tony Pollard. I don't know if Tony Pollard is going to be like the ace running back that they signed him to be. So I'm not. I don't think I'm that off on what the Titans are this year.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. All right. Let's jump into our most favorite segment, It is time for everybody's fix of six. JB, take it away.
JB's fix of six, number 3. The Utah NHL team has narrowed down their choices to the finalists for what their name is going to be. And I'm going to run through this, and there's only one correct answer to this. The Utah Blizzard, the
I have
Utah
my vote.
Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, the Utah Outlaws, the Utah Venom, and the Utah Yeti. I think they should be the Utah Door Knockers because of all the Mormons. No, the Utah Blizzard. It may be the Yeti. The Utah Blizzard would be so cool, and it would piss off the
Yes.
Colorado Avalanche. And so, I think anything you could do to piss off the Avalanche fans, I think would be fantastic. It'd be a new rivalry in hockey only because of the nickname. I don't know how you have an
Yeah.
Avalanche a mascot and a Blizzard mascot. I don't know if it's just Dairy Queen running out there giving out free Blizzards. Yeah, but
Three Blizzards. I love it.
I love the Utah Blizzard. Team up with Dairy Queen. Let's marry this
Oh
together.
yeah.
Let's do this now.
A
JB's
marriage everyone wants.
yeah. JB's number 2 fix of 6. Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery are perhaps having the worst start to any two pitchers in Major League Baseball history. They have combined to go 70 innings and give up 61 runs. That is, I don't know if you know anything about math. I didn't major mathology, but giving up 61 runs in 70 innings is awful. And I'll tell you this. Scott Boras has made a complete fool of himself this offseason. If there's one thing you can sit there and say for Bellinger, JD Martinez, Matt Chapman, they've all had fine to right now, fine offensive seasons. They've been okay. There's a reason pitchers and catchers report a week earlier than the hitters do. Pitchers need that time. Pitchers need that time in spring training, not to just build up, but to be with the team. For Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell to be able to do that on their own accord, nothing wrong with that with building up. But it is just a strong reason why pitchers and catchers go together a week or two before the hitters do, because they work on their chemistry. Chemistry is everything when it comes to battery mates. And Scott Boras screwed these two players royally. If I'm Blake Snell and I'm Jordan Montgomery, I am finding new agent forthwith. My number 1 fix of 6. That showdown between Shohei Ohtani and Paul Skeens was so much fun to watch. Paul Skeens strikes out Shohei on 3 straight pitches the first time. But the next time, Paul Skeens throws a pitch that was, justifiably the right pitch. Shohei cranks it out of the park. Now, the notable thing here, and what I want young listeners to take from this, is the smile Paul Skeens had on his face when that ball left Shohei Ohtani's bat, and he knew immediately it was a homer. Paul Skeens grew up in Southern California. He idolized Shohei Ohtani. So him being able to smile and relish in a homer from his childhood hero, from the pitch that he threw, was just something so cool, so innocent. It was so baseball. You never see a quarterback throw a pick to a corner that they idolized as a kid and run it back for pick 6, and they're like, oh, I'm so happy right now. No, this only happens in Major League Baseball. And one more note. I'm sick and tired of people out there saying, because Paul Skeens throws 100 miles an hour better than anyone else does, that he's automatically a candidate for Tommy John surgery. Maybe this kid just knows how to throw a baseball. Maybe he's so gifted, he's so talented that he can get away with it. And oh, by the by, I don't hear anyone saying this about Jared Jones, who is his teammate who throws just as hard as Paul Skeens does. So all those naysayers out there who want Paul Skeens to have Tommy John surgery, knock it off. Manny, What
Hmm.
is your fix of six?
Manny's fix of six. Let's start on a bright note, if I may. Number three, and I'm gonna slaughter his name. Chukwupita Marcano
Yeah,
has
you
faced,
butchered it. It was George.
received.
Yeah, his name is George Brett. I'm kidding. No, it's not.
He has faced. He has received a lifetime ban from Major League Baseball for, take a wild guess here, gambling. Once again, the gambling issue arises. He didn't learn. He didn't learn from Shohei's translator. He didn't learn from freaking Porter the Third getting banned. This man thought he was better than everybody else, and he got busted again. Not only did he get busted, he got busted for being bad at gambling. He placed, I think it was either 200 or 2,000 bets. It was some outrageous number of bets that he placed, and he won 3 to 4% of those bets. This man was blowing his money like it was matches lighting JB's cigar. It was the most ridiculous betting I have ever seen. I don't know what goes through these players' minds. It's not like it's a hidden secret. I just think everybody thinks that they are above the law. So, Marcano, what the hell are you doing, my guy?
Yeah.
Number two, on a more somber note, my guy Larry Allen has passed away. He passed away on Tuesday or Monday. This guy was a great personality, a great Cowboys legend, and to top it off, the one thing that sucks about this story is that he was on vacation with his family, and he wasn't old. I think
He was 52.
he was not he was
He
yeah
was
he was 52.
52.
He's not
Yeah.
old. I'm not his doctor, so I don't know if he had like underlying medical conditions, but this man passed away while being on vacation with his loved ones. So rest in peace, Larry Allen. You were a great player, a great person, and I wasn't uh, conscious enough to be following his career, but forever I will remember the play where his quarterback threw a pick and he chased down that defender and tackled his ass before they could
Yeah.
score. All-time greatest play for a lineman.
Yeah.
And Manny's number one pick of six. Your boy, Christian CMC McCaffrey, has signed an extension with the 49ers that will be paying him $19 million per year. Well deserved. Not just well deserved, he is the offense of the 49ers. He has revitalized that offense that was about to start sputtering if it wasn't for him. But my key takeaway, this man has reset the running back market this year. Guess what? He also reset the running back market when he signed his deal with the Carolina Panthers. Unmatched. If it wasn't for the
Yeah.
fact that he got traded to the 49ers, I would be wishing, praying, lighting candles, doing whatever for him to win a Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
he's at the Niners.
Yeah.
Can't I can't wish well upon the 49ers, so I just hope he has a great career.
I'm
So
hoping.
that
Yeah.
is Manny's fix of six. Go ahead, JB.
I'm hoping that this was John Lynch's attempt to tell Kyle Shanahan, give him the ball, dummy. Next time we're up or next time
Oh
we're
yeah,
down, just give him the ball. what
yeah. He's your guy. What are we doing? Yeah,
are we doing here?
but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
No.
that is the conclusion of our favorite segment. Your fix of six.
Right.
JB, tell
Yeah.
me, talk to me. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a repeat of something I've had on this on the pod before. This is a Bondstone. It is a bourbon. It is a double barrel or a double oak barrel bourbon. It is very tasty. It goes down very smooth. I have not had anything to eat yet, and it has not jacked me up,
Ooh,
which is fantastic. What are
oh,
you drinking?
that is good. You know, I'm going to go with something. I went with something. that most people have probably seen on the shelf and probably have not tried. So I wanted to be the sacrificial lamb. We're trying some Gentleman's Jack.
Oh, okay.
Jack Daniels Gentleman Jack is good. It, I expected it to be rough. It is not
Yeah.
rough. It is really good to drink. I got screwed over where I'm at for some reason. They freaking overcharged the shit out of me for me to try it, but it's worth the money because I this is something that I can sip on. But it's good. It's
Yeah.
good so far.
Yeah.
That's what I'm drinking. What are you smoking?
I'm smoking. A Punch came out with a cigar called the Knuckle Buster about a while ago. This one is the Knuckle Buster
Ooh,
Maduro. It's not a big gauge. It's an easy-ish smoke. I'm not a big Punch fan. Anytime I'm looking for just a cheap cigar, just to smoke, and if I have to throw away, I can. It'll be a Punch. I'll grab a Punch. But this one's not. I mean, for cheap cigars, this one's not bad. Like I said, it is a Maduro, so it is a little bit harsh. But the gauge it's nice. It's not my typical gauge. The bigger the gauge, the more I enjoy it for me. But this it's been a nice stick to smoke so far. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Very good. That will do it then.
Yes, it
We
will.
are done.
We are done. Everybody, as we cheers you out, follow us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and TikTok at BSB Sports 24, YouTube and Spotify, Box Scores and Bourbon. Leave us a comment. Subscribe on YouTube. We want to reach 100 subscribers on YouTube by the end of 2024. Follow us on Spotify. We always have questions or polls on there. So once you click on the podcast when you're listening, click on the details itself, and the poll is embedded on that next page. But thank you for listening.
Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Box Scores and Bourbon. Interact with us. Leave us a comment on YouTube. Interact with us on Spotify. Give us your opinion on what your takes are. If you disagree with my Chris Johnson take, by all means, tell me. I'm not going to get my feelings hurt. Check us out on TikTok and Instagram, BSB Sports 24. Till next time, peace out. Cheers, everyone.